Notice, the following video has been made to abide by YouTube's terms of service. That wondrous institution of higher knowledge we call college. Depending on whoever walks through the gilded halls of the universities and colleges of our world, it is either a chance to learn new life skills for future careers, a place to unwind and have fun, or a place of self-discovery. In recent years, however, colleges have been receiving a rather unsettling reputation. Some of these bastions of higher learning have transformed into places through which highly sensitive and temperamental adult children are pampered and protected from opinions they don't like. I speak, of course, of the organism known simply as the social justice warrior. The SJW is considered to be someone who has not been used to confrontation or clashing ideologies. Ever since childhood, they have been essentially protected from trials and tribulations, and have been told that their feelings and ideas are the only ones that really matter. Because of this, young adults have now grown up with the mentality of the spoiled child. If something doesn't go their way, or if someone else holds a viewpoint he or she disagrees with, they essentially throw a temper tantrum. And these temper tantrums often involve SJWs accusing their dissenters of racism, sexism, homophobia, or anything of the sort. Or worse still, trying to censor those they disagree with, even going so far as to try to get them fired from their jobs or expelled from the university they are attending. To appease social justice warriors and avoid having their feelings hurt, universities have adopted tools such as safe spaces, trigger warnings, free speech zones, speech codes, and so forth. Unfortunately, catering to the social justice warriors can result in disaster. One particular example is Mizzou University. From September to November of 2015, Mizzou University had faced a series of protests involving racial incidents. Some of the organizations involved in these protests include Concerned Student 1950 and the football team for Mizzou University, and they all had the exact same demand: the resignation of Tim Wolf, president of the university. Initially, Wolf refused to resign from his post on November 8th. However, the following day, on November 9th, he announced his resignation and would say he would take a research role within the university. Unfortunately for the university, they ended up making themselves a laughingstock of the internet as well as an embarrassment to the academic world. Tim Tai, a student photojournalist, was sent to cover the protests by ESPN. Student protesters seen Tai and proceeded to try to harass him into leaving. Melissa Click, a supporter of the movement as well as a professor of the university, was videotaped calling for muscle to try to forcibly remove the student reporters. Combined with a Ku Klux Klan hoax spread by Peyton Head, student body president, as well as Concerned Student 1950 trying to keep reporters out of their meeting, and you have a recipe for disaster. The end result of all these fiascos had resulted in a loss of 2,273 students in enrollment, which included 1,500 undergrads, out of which 900 were freshmen. Donations to the athletic program had dropped by a staggering 68.7%, down to only $191,000, as well as a loss of $6 million in new pledges and donations. Overall, the university's budget had lost $32 million, resulting in 4 student dormitories being shut down and 50 jobs in cleaning and maintenance being cut. However, every once in a while, a university shows just how to deal with SJWs properly. Ohio State University proved this when students attempted to stage a sit-in protest at Bricker Hall, specifically just outside of President Michael V. Drake's office. This protest was done with a series of demands to which I will leave a link to down below. The Vice President, Jay Casey, as well as administrative staff, decided that enough was enough. Casey, as well as another member of staff, approached the protesters and essentially told them what they were doing was a violation of the Code of Student Conduct, and that their actions were scaring the staff. He warned the protesters that if they were not out of the building by 5 o'clock in the morning, then they would be arrested and likely expelled. By 12:30 a.m., the protesters had left the building. Video footage and news articles of the confrontation had spread, with people praising the actions of the university staff. And recently, the University of Chicago has been gaining attention for their response to SJWs. For this school year, incoming students were given a welcome letter by the Dean of Students. What drew attention to the university, however, was what was written in said letter. To summarize it, Dr. John J. Ellison stated that the university was dedicated to the freedom of expression of ideas, opinions, and so forth, even encouraging debate and disagreement of these topics. Also, students will not be coddled and protected from ideals that clash with their own. This means that safe spaces, trigger warnings, and the barring of controversial speakers was not going to happen. This is a good move for the university, as it lets students know ahead of time what to expect. Essentially, students who go to the University of Chicago will find themselves in an environment where they will be exposed to opinions they may not agree with altogether. Thus, they have to learn to debate and discuss effectively, especially with those who have opposing viewpoints. However, the school's reputation may have also played a factor in the writing of this letter. According to US News, the University of Chicago is tied for 4th in the best college in the nation. It is very selective who they accept, allowing only 8.8% of all applicants in the school during the year 2014. With that kind of reputation, it's no surprise then that the university has had to take careful consideration on their actions. If they had followed the footsteps of Mizzou University, or had adopted the concepts of safe spaces and trigger warnings like other campuses, would they still have the same reputation they have now? Or would they just be considered another campus that caters to SJWs? And I personally believe that the events that occurred at Mizzou University inspired the actions of the University of Chicago. After all, when Mizzou bent their knee to SJWs, they lost not only reputation, but funding as well. And I personally believe that the Chicago University did not want to suffer the same fate as Mizzou did, so they basically had to make their stance perfectly clear. In any case, this concludes tonight's video. So I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.